In the house next door lived Mrs. B. Romo, a singer, whose children, 2 sons, were also singers. They all sang in a proud and angry way, as if yelling at someone, their faces bright red.
"It's a miracle!"
Mrs. Romo shouted next morning, when she came out and discovered that her yard was free of gapers.
"This is wonderful." "Capable, dear, you poor thing. The miracle didn't happen to you, did it?" "I feel so sorry for you. God has been good to us by taking our gappers away." "Why? I can't say. God knows what God is doing, I guess. I suppose we must somehow deserve it. Boys, come out and look."
And her boys, Robert and Gilbert, came out and looked.
"What?"
said Robert, who himself was only slightly brighter than a gaper.
"I don't get it,"
said Gilbert, who was exactly as bright as a gaper.
"No gappers, boys,"
said B.
"See? No more gapper brushing."
"So what are you saying, Ma?"
said Robert.
"Are you saying we don't have to brush gappers as long as there aren't any?"
"Is that what you're saying, Ma?"
said Gilbert.
"Boys, it's a good thing you're such excellent singers,"
said B. Romo, sort of rolling her eyes at Capable.
"because you're certainly not going to win any brain awards."
"Well, I don't want a brain award,"
said Robert.
"Me too,"
said Gilbert.
"I don't want a brain award either."
"Unless they give money with it,"
said Robert.
"Do they give money with it?"
said Gilbert.
"In that case, maybe I'll take it. Money or candy.
said Gilbert.
Or a trophy.
or a medal."
said Robert.
Unless they pin the medal right directly into your brain.
said Gilbert.
In that case, no, I don't want it."
"Me too.
said Robert.
If they're gonna stick a pin into my brain about it, forget it."
"Boys, stop talking.
said B. Romo.
Stop talking now. Go inside and sing."
"Okay,
said Robert.
but no brain awards."
And that's final.
said Gilbert. And the Romo boys went back inside and sang some more angry scales, after which they argued about which of them sang the best, after which they wrestled about which of them sang the best, and there was the sound of some wooden thing breaking, possibly a piano bench. Later that day, Capable came out to brush gapers and found Mrs. Romo saying heave-ho to a team of several strong men from Frip, the next town over, who had their shoulders to the Romo's little green shack. It was tilted way up, and Capable could see dark dirt and worms underneath, and a pair of old shoes.
"Hello, dear,"
Mrs. Romo said.
"Hope you don't mind. I'm moving my house as far away from yours as I possibly can. After we spoke earlier, it occurred to me that the only thing separating my yard from your yard is a picket fence, which gappers could easily squeeze through. And one thing I don't need at this point is a yard full of gappers. I suppose they don't bother you anymore. You're probably used to them. You probably even take a kind of crude enjoyment in them. But my boys are made of more sensitive stuff and mustn't be distracted from their singing careers. Oh, to the lot line, fellows! Lift, men! You can do it!"
And the men succeeded in lifting the house and moving it very, very close to the third and final house in Frip, which belonged to Sid and Carol Ronsen, who stood in their yard with looks of dismay on their nearly identical, frowning faces.
"See here,"
said Sid Ronsen.
"See here,"
said Carol Ronsen.
"what are are you doing, Bee?
What in the world are you doing, Bee?
said Sid.
Good Lord, moving your house so close, you're crowding our little house. Do you see it? Our little house is this blue one here. The one your house is now nearly touching, Bee.
And it was true. The houses were now very, very close. A person could easily hop from roof to roof. The Romo boys were doing just this. They were hopping from roof to roof, singing in angry voices, while the Ronsen girls, Beverly and Gloria, craned their heads out the window with their fingers in their ears.
I'm still on my property,
said Mrs. Romo.
Good Lord,
said Sid.
Good Lord, Bee.
said Carol.
You could look right in on us. You could look right in on us being naked in our own private bathroom.
Don't worry, I won't,
said Mrs. Romo.
although you will probably hear us singing from time to time.
Lucky us,
said Sid Ronsen. And immediately, Sid Ronsen hired the same 5 men to move his house to the far edge of his property. Now the distance between his house and the Romo house was exactly the same as it had been this morning. It was as if the world had tipped and the Romo and Ronsen's houses had slid over, but Capable's house had stayed where it was.